since the 1980s, games have been centered around collecting, well, collectibles. Whether it's Pac-Man gobbling up pellets or Mario gathering power stars, many games can only be completed by obtaining a required amount of baubles, trinkets, or jewels. Hello, but that doesn't mean that they haven't gone absolutely crazy from time to time, and some of these collectathons really do feel like that. So let's take a look at them today. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 video games with the most collectibles. Number 10, GTA 5 404. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 was praised upon its release not just for its fluid gameplay, interactivity, and in-depth story, but also for its gargantuan size. The map of Los Santos is an overwhelming 49 square miles, making it 7 times larger than GTA 4's Liberty City. With so many missions and side quests, GTA 5 was guaranteed to keep players entertained for quite some time. But for completionists, it's gonna take a lot longer, since this rocksteady sequel contains over 400 collectibles, and you can't just walk around and talk to everyone to find them all. You need to drive, fly, cycle, and swim through every place imaginable in order to find all of the spaceship parts, letter scraps, epsilon tracks, hidden packages, subparts, photos, monkey mosaics, and nuclear waste barrels. And because of the staggering size of the map, finding everything seems like a Herculean task. There are many people who love GTA 5 to death and have played it for years and have still never obtained everything this game has to offer. Number 9, Marvel's Spider-Man 511. In Insomniac's award-winning game Marvel's Spider-Man, the quipping wall crawler is tasked with traversing around Manhattan to stop the evil schemes of villains like Kingpin, Mr. Negative, Tombstone, and Shocker. But webbing around the city is so much frickin' fun that there are times that you just want to get away from the story to explore, and while you're whipping about, you'll be sure to procure one of the hundreds of collectibles, including J. Jonah Jameson's archives, backpacks, and Daily Bugle newspapers. But the most common collectibles in this game are the tokens. This 2018 action-adventure boasts 259 tokens, and you're going to have to acquire every single one of them in order to unlock all of those juicy upgrades, wacky gadgets, and alternate costumes. You can collect different types of tokens by performing certain tasks like taking pictures of landmarks, stopping crimes, destroying enemy bases, completing challenges, winning lab minigames, and so forth. But that's not all. If you include the DLC, The City That Never Sleeps, there's another 24 archives and 12 recordings to find as well, bringing the grand total of collectibles in Marvel's Spider-Man to 511. Number 8, Batman Arkham Knight 516. The Batman Arkham series has become famous for its gameplay, but infamous for its time-consuming side missions, especially the Riddler trophies. In Batman Arkham Knight, you can attain these prizes by achieving missions within a time limit, disabling traps, using gadgets, or through timed races in the Batmobile. And some of these trophies are so painstaking to acquire that it's nightmarish to earn all 243 of them. But guess what? If you get them all, you're not even half finished. Upon completing the game, you'll unlock New Story Plus, which allows you to replay the game with all of the experience, gadgets, and abilities from your previous playthrough. And you will need to beat every single mission and find every Riddler trophy all over again in order to achieve 200% completion. And that was everything the game had to offer, right? Well, true, up until the Season of Infamy DLC was added in. Although there are several DLCs, the 30 items found in the Season of Infamy side mission are the only ones considered official collectibles, since obtaining them affects your completion rating. If the player finds everything in the story mode, New Story Plus, and Season of Infamy, it will bring their completion rating to a mathematically impossible 240%. Number 7, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time 557. Now, it wasn't long after Crash Bandicoot It's About Time was released that players said that they'd finished the game, but for completionists, they looked at them, laughed, and said, "Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet." You see, the most common collectibles in the franchise are gems, which are usually obtained after breaking every crate in a level. Even though each entry in the original trilogy only had a few dozen gems each, this was still a pretty arduous task. But Crash 4 takes the cake, or Aussie equivalent, because instead of each level having one gem, there are now between 6 to 12 which can be obtained by achieving certain requirements. But even after you find all 228 gems, you are still not done. You'll have to do it all over again in the inverted mode, bringing you up to 456 gems. With 4 more hidden gems, that brings it to the grand total of 460. But remember, that's only the gems. There are also 21 tapes hidden throughout the game as well, and on top of that, you'll need to collect 38 perfect relics and 38 platinum relics in time trials mode. Anyone who thought the original trilogy had a lot of collectibles had no idea what Crash 4 had in store for them. Number 6, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag 557. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag's main campaign is composed of 42 missions, which takes about 10 hours to complete. But while you sail the seas and infiltrate hideouts, you'll also have to rummage through every nook and cranny to find the plethora of Templar keys, manuscripts, letters in bottles, maps, and naval contracts. But what really keeps players busy in this swashbuckling adventure is collecting the 200 treasure chests and 200 Animus fragments. Now, it's not the quantity of these trinkets that's the problem, it's their locations. Many of these valuables are buried underwater, and we all know how much the video game community loves water-based levels, right? Navigating through shipwrecks and dodging great whites while seeking out every chest through murky waters takes forever. And what's worse is that you always have a time restraint, since you can only hold your breath for so long. More often than not, you'll be within arm's length of attaining a rare item, only to drown and lose everything. Number 5. Banjo-Kazooie, almost 1,169. After Super Mario 64 was praised for focusing on exploration by having an open world rather than a linear structure, it wasn't long before other platformers followed suit. And what's the easiest way to encourage players to explore? Well, by filling the levels with stuff. Only 2 years after Super Mario 64 was released, Rare created their own little 3D platformer, Banjo-Kazooie. However, Rare raised the bar exponentially in terms of collectibles. If you thought that grabbing 120 power stars and Super Mario 64 sounded daunting, Banjo-Kazooie has nearly 10 times more to attain. The colourful and cartoony adventure game was groundbreaking upon its release, since nobody had seen a platformer with so much content at the time. You need to find jiggies to open up new worlds, musical notes to access areas of Gruntilda's base, and honeycombs to boost your health bar. And the only way to find all 1,169 collectibles was to search absolutely everywhere. Now, there are some games that shove a ton of obtainables in an obvious attempt to stretch out their gameplay. Thankfully, Banjo-Kazooie found the right balance, so it never stopped being fun seeking out hidden items even after completing the main campaign. Number 4. Breath of the Wild, over 1,200. Since the first Legend of Zelda, the beloved franchise has been filled to the brim with side quests and collectibles. And when Nintendo promised that Breath of the Wild would be the largest Legend of Zelda game by far, gamers knew that it would be littered with more content than any rational player would be able to find. And not only does Breath of the Wild have a gigantic campaign, it has dozens of helmets, armors, trousers, and horse accessories to find. The game also has 120 mini-dungeons which reward the player with a spirit orb upon completion, and these orbs are needed to maximize Link's health and stamina. However, the real completionist challenge is the Korok seeds. If you bring enough of these seeds to a Korok named Hetsu, he'll give you pouches for more slots, allowing you to hold more weapons, shields, and bows. But because there is a punishing 900 seeds scattered across Hyrule, only the most hardcore players have ever found them all. But surely the game rewards you if you grab every seed, right? Well, yes it does, because you get a giant pile of golden poo. Totally worth it, right? Number 3. Super Smash Bros. Over 1,400. Because Super Smash Bros. Ultimate announced that every single playable character in the franchise would return, the hype for the sequel was monumental, and even though these expectations were unrealistically high, Ultimate managed to exceed them all. Although fans were exhilarated the moment the game was officially announced, completionists, they were a little worried, because since Super Smash Bros. Melee, every entry in the series has had a ton of items to seek out. Upon Ultimate's release, there were 1,297 collectibles, which were called spirits. Equipping spirits to a character grants them special abilities during battle, like stronger kicks, faster recovery, immunity to electrical attacks, etc. Now, spirits can be bought, won in challenges, or acquired in classic and adventure mode. If 1,297 collectibles sounds like a lot, well, that's not all, because new spirits were added upon every update. After Alex and Steve were introduced as playable characters via DLC, another 11 Minecraft-based spirits were inserted into the game. And that means that we're at over 1,400 collectibles. Yeesh. Number 2. Super Mario Odyssey, 1,999. In most of Super Mario's 3D outings, the gravity-defying plumber has to leap between worlds in order to collect 120 Power Stars. But in Super Mario Odyssey, Nintendo's mascot needed to obtain a staggering 999 Power Moons. Technically, there's 836, but you can purchase another 163 Power Moons to bring you up to 999. But even though you only need 124 to beat the game, Mario Odyssey is just too fun to stop once you've acquired the bare minimum. You want to explore every kingdom to seize as many moons as possible. Although the Power Moons are the primary collectible, they're not the only one. Each level houses between 50 to 100 purple coins, which serve as currency for purchasing hats and suits. If you want to unlock all 82 pieces of clothing, well, you'll have to find 1,000 purple coins. Technically, the clothes that you purchase are considered unlockables rather than collectibles, but even if they don't serve much purpose, you'll be driven to unlock every single one of them. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to play as a caveman Mario, or triple somersault around a city as a mustachioed skeleton, or battle Bowser in a tuxedo? Come on. And number 1, Donkey Kong 64, 3,821. In the year 2000, Donkey Kong 64 achieved the Guinness World Record for the most collectibles in a video game, with a grand total of 3,821. And it's maintained this record, which is a remarkable achievement considering so many modern games are padded out with tons of items. So how come DK's first 3D outing has so many things to obtain? Well, early 3D platformers popularized the concept of collecting a large number of objects to obtain an important collectible. And DK64 follows a similar formula since the tie-wearing ape can collect up to 100 bananas per level. However, you play as 5 characters, meaning that you can collect a maximum of 500 of this fruit per world. And that's just the bananas. You also have to collect 40 blueprints, 40 banana medals, 20 banana fairies, 8 keys, 10 battle crowns, 201 gold bananas, a Nintendo coin, and a rareware coin in each area. And considering that Donkey Kong 64 has nearly double the amount of collectibles to the runner-up, it's safe to say that it will hold on to this record for a long old time. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 video games with the most collectibles. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, where it's @RetroJ, but the O is a 0. And you can follow me every single week for daily gaming content over on the Future Game Show, or FGS for short. Hope to see you over there. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Hope you're treating yourself well with love and respect, my friend, because there's one collectible that we should always look to snag each and every day, and that is just to be kind to ourselves, because we deserve the best, and we're not going to let anything or anyone else tell us otherwise, alright? We're massive ledges, and we're going to go out there and we're going to smash our life goals today, because I believe in you, my friend. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.